Guess who's back? Come on, everybody, group hug!
Morning, or whatever time it is for you guys. This probably isn't the kind of thing you're expecting from a channel like this, but if you watch the update video I posted before this, you'll get the idea. This one isn't so much as for content as it is more of an experiment, but I'm doing this, well, because I want to, bottom line. That has to be the basis of everything I post here. Otherwise, it's difficult for me to put in the effort required to publish something that I'm proud of. And I definitely don't want to put something out there that later on I'll think back to how I could have done it better. I'm perfectionist at heart, to a fault, and it's it's very stressful. So I'm trying to like chill out and like relax a little more. But yeah, trying this animation thing. Hello. They're just stills, but I thought it could add some more personality versus just having it be my voice and gameplay or a background. For a video like this, I figured no gameplay would be a little more appropriate. And this video is exactly what the title implies. No cap. Oh, no. Don't say that again. Fuck it. Anyways, before we begin, I just want to preface a few things. And for future videos like this down the road, of course, I'm not claiming to know all the answers. I am not a licensed therapist. I can only speak from my experience, and my life has not been nearly as taxing compared to some people's. I'm sure to some of you out there it's absolutely much worse, and I'm sorry, I really am. And making this is addressed to myself as kind of in like me trying to maybe spread some like my 2 cents, basically what I would want someone to say to me if I was going through like the trenches like now. But I've been doing a personal audio journal, diary, or audio record of what I've been going through. It's just for myself though, and to anybody in the same position where you live a very secluded life or just prefer to be a bit of a loner. Anyways, this video is especially for you. I feel like I can speak pretty confidently about that specific perspective in life, but even then I'm not claiming to speak in complete end-all certainty. This is just one guy in a small 70s wood panel 1-bedroom apartment out in Bible Belt country. A simple man trying to make his way in the universe, if you will. This video isn't focused on one particular hardship in life. You know, grief, loss, post-breakup, nothing like that. Maybe another time. This is just a very general statement about simply the struggle of existence, because no matter what walk of life you come from, either very fortunate or otherwise, we've all been there to some extent. And that'll kind of carry into the first point I want to make here. Whatever that struggle is for you, I'm telling you that you're not doing yourself any favors by comparing what you're going through, your struggle, to someone else's, especially when they're on such a drastically different situation than yours. Like an example, you just failed miserably at your first semester at college, your GPA is already spiraling downwards, and you're petrified at the thought of having to tell your parents, you're scared of losing their support, or even worse, being forced to drop out. If you're that person, it is entirely unfair to yourself to compare what you're going through to, say, someone whose parent or significant other passed away unexpectedly. Those are very specific subjects, but the point is that you cannot let yourself be put down any more than you're already at because someone else is suffering. Pain isn't an easily quantified measure that we can calculate on a scale, not emotionally anyways. The grieving pain in particular is an entirely different form than the pain of fear or panic, although they can share similarities. And speaking from my experience, I had to address grief in my life much differently than I do with pains from a breakup. And sadly, there isn't a one-size-fits-all model when it comes to trying to resolve that issue, which will lead into the second point. And I feel that the biggest flaw that I repeatedly kept falling for, time and time again, was in trying to get over that pain, whatever it is, as fast as I could with as much effort and using every tactic I could think of, simultaneously trying to lock this internal conflict away as soon as possible. I did it to try and protect the people that cared about me. I didn't want them to keep worrying about me. I did it for myself so I could just move on with my life as soon as I could. I did it so I could finally sleep consistently at night. I did it for a number of reasons, but the error to me wasn't in trying to really settle how I felt emotionally, which should be the long-term goal. Instead, it was in trying to settle the short-term initial state of wanting the pain to stop immediately. But our bodies and mind aren't built like that. Again, not speaking for everyone, but especially a pain where you feel like the situation was unraveling months or even years of personal investment into that person or dream or job, whatever the thing might be. And I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1 ratio, but at least in my life, I've definitely felt that depending on the investment that you put into that thing emotionally, it seems to have a close relation in how long it'll take to really begin to make some long-lasting progress that'll stick. And if you're anything like me, keeping all that in mind, I think we kind of put ourselves in this box for a while afterwards. Someone like me might try and take it to the extreme and refrain from ever exposing themselves to anyone or trying anything new in order to protect ourselves. And to an extent, you're not wrong in feeling that way, and it's just my advice. I'd actually encourage a short period of healthy isolation. A key word being healthy, because isolating yourself, unless you're absolutely on your own, to the point of pushing anyone you care about away, you're spreading the damage you're feeling to those loved ones as well. Unless you want to be a dick, that's what I've realized for myself. Healthy isolation to me has been letting the few family and friends that I have that I'm okay. I'm going the fuck through it, but just give me some space and time. And in giving them an update every once a day or whatever feels appropriate to you can give them some ease as well. Not everybody is like that. Maybe you need to be surrounded by people in order to recover adequately, and that's great. Keep that up. Just do whatever you feel to do, and as I mentioned at the end of my update video, which is my third point here, is take more time to rest and recuperate. I had a very interesting exchange with a family member of mine recently, and I understood where they were coming from and made them aware that I had to quit my job suddenly, and they were very concerned and distraught by me saying that. But because of that person coming from an older generation, that person had rarely, at least to my knowledge, seldom ever took time off work and had any real vacations to take a break from the heavy hours they were obligated to. They wanted me to get another job right away and not to waste any time, but that's the point I'm making right there. It's that it's not a waste of time. Rest is never a waste. It absolutely can be exploited. I do believe there's a grace period, but that time varies from person to person. If you never make a move and simply wallow in that dread and self-doubt, then that's a warning sign in and of itself. Even if you're someone who thrives in being proactive, even if you enjoy it, you can burn yourself out to a point of unintentional self-harm. But take that time, literally stop and smell the roses, as overused as that statement is. Take a walk and don't keep your eyes planted on the ground a few feet in front of you. It's very specific, but I'm not an outdoors person, but I've been going on more walks lately, and I catch myself doing that a lot when it's actually really nice out and there's a stream and there's ducks and fish. There's things I haven't even noticed before because usually I only go out for runs. But you've just taken the time to just walk and just kind of enjoy and see everything in detail. It's helped me recover somewhat. Just it's something pleasant for my mind to wander into instead of staying at home. But staying at home isn't bad either. Just saying. That's just my experience. Go for moderate to light exercises. I don't even recommend going super hard, especially if it's fresh. And do your best to not address your pain with substances. It's also very specific, and it's personal. But if you haven't noticed, the majority of my content I posted has been while I'm under the influence. I usually do that so I can loosen up and not be so self-aware. And I really enjoy edibles or alcohol, and typically they keep me upbeat and happy, but when your mind isn't in a right state, it's only made me hyper-focus on those negative points, more to the point where I just become unproductive. My work and videos suffer, my motivation suffers, and for a time I've had to stop taking anything and embrace the raw emotions, head on. The reality is that trying to stuff it all away in the back of your mental closet, by whatever means you choose, it never will go away. There are some people who just can't bear to look at it anymore, but it's there and it's festering and rotting that space to the point which eventually it will come out. And I've experienced that it'll begin to take an emotional toll on you as well. You'll become so brittle, just the smallest things that remind you about that pain will be enough to set you off. and it'll bring you right back to that initial state of suffering like it just never happened. Or, well, to that initial state of suffering like it just happened for the first time that day. That can go on for months or even years if it's not addressed. Then that to me has always been the worst case scenario. Next to falling into complete despair to the point that your life is at stake, you'll continuously neglect yourself to the point where you don't even care what happens to yourself anymore. And once you reach a steady state in that mindset, is when I felt you're in the most amount of danger. That is the point where even if you're a loner and that's your thing, cool, but you need to reach out, whatever you have to do. If you're alone and you're feeling that way, even if you prefer to be alone, it's similar to the point where you're almost a danger to yourself. And we'll do a little trigger warning here, which I probably should have mentioned at the start of this video, but maybe I'll put it in the description. Anyways, the idea of suicide to me has more or less in one form or another always dangled over my head since even before I graduated high school. But I'm fine, I'm okay, don't worry. But people are really hard to expose the way they feel when it comes to that. And to me, since I'm putting my all into this now, I want to make this, like a safe space where people can be open and talk about it too. Despite this channel being primarily based on good vibes, there's room here for real talk. I think a balance of the two would be good, and I think refreshing point in comparison to being an entertainment only channel, unless you're set on doing it, which in case you absolutely need to seek medical help. People are too afraid to even mention the idea of just feeling it because of the repercussions. The reality is that many people, even people we think are the happiest, are toying with the notion of not being alive, or have at least thought about it once, at one point or another. And it's not wrong to talk about it, but acting on it's different, I know. But no matter what, you have to believe for yourself that this isn't the end. You have so much more control over your life than you feel for yourself. Because of the structure of modern day life, we often feel corralled into these box standard ways of living. Blue collar, white collar, scholar, an athlete, even artists can feel this way despite their profession trying to be just the opposite, trying to be outside formality. But no one is safe from pain or strife. If you're alive, you're going to suffer. That's the sad reality of it. And while this might sound cruel, if you're in pain right now, even after you recover, you'll encounter something else along the way. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. But the big ass but, like thick as fuck but, you cannot let that be the reason or a reason to stop trying. There is never a good reason to stop trying, and that applies to all walks of life. Go to extreme measures if you have to, do something you've never done before, pursue that career, go travel, make that move, live where you've always wanted to live. And to quote my personal favorite game protagonist of all time, Ichiban from Yakuza 7, at the end he says, "But the bottom doesn't have to be all dark and gloomy. If you can stand and look up, you'll see the light of hope up there." And actually, if you have the time and want something to focus on other than real life shit, I highly recommend playing Like a Dragon. I played that before everything went to shit for me, but it was inspiring to me nonetheless, and I'd probably weep like a toddler if I played it again right now. Just watching the ending cutscene makes me tear up a bit when I see it on YouTube. But to end this in a bit of a happier note too, I wanted to recommend a few games or movies that I've turned to as a way to help myself recover. The first, of course, Like a Dragon. It's long and the story is wild as fuck, but the points of not being alone, learning to lean on friends, realizing that just because they aren't blood doesn't mean that they can't be family, starting from rock bottom, it has a lot of great qualities like that. For someone in distress, it hits home. Another game, series of games, is honestly any From Software game, between Elden Ring and Bloodborne for me, those two in particular. And that sounds really counterintuitive, but Nakey Dakey has a really great video about that point, so go check it out, just look it up. But I actually got the idea from him. While they can be rage-inducing, conquering a Souls game is such a motivational boost. If you can beat one of those pain-in-the-ass games that is constantly trying to fuck you over, if you can conquer that, I think it sets a nice precedent in trying to overcome real-life struggles. For movies, honestly, take your pick, but any Ghibli movie will help mend the soul, man. It's like they were made for that. They were made for us, I swear. For me, it's definitely Only Yesterday. It's not like the cutesy animation, spectacle that the studio is known for. And it's not directed by Miyazaki, but it is the best movie in my opinion that commentates that struggle on, well, captures that struggle on doing what makes you happy versus just what makes sense logically. The ending scene with the credits just breaks me every time. If you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. For anime show, Gurren Lagann all the way. That show is my motivation pusher. Every time I see it, even if I'm not going through a crisis, swear to God that show taught me how to be a man. I swear. Another anime, well, in general, slice of life stuff. As dumb as most of them are, and can be they're really soothing to an aching heart. One's focusing on friendship or just everyday life. Nichijou and Hinamatsuri, I think I said that right, are two of my personal favorites. Horimiya is perfect if you want a romance anime that gets to the fucking point. It doesn't end the season in will they, won't they garbage that most of them do. Taking a left turn here. For movies, I recommend About Time and When Harry Met Sally. They're both romance flicks, and you might, find them unbearable, which as a guy you probably do, but these two are significant exceptions that I would not have recommended if I didn't love them so much. But it just could be just me. Thank you. About Time is a great story, and for me, the bits of the relationship between the protagonist and his dad hit very close to home for me. And Harry Met Sally, it's just a tale of these two constantly quarreling that develop into an intensely wholesome relationship. I don't know, it just gives me hope in a way when it comes to love, and Billy Crystal totally slays in it. It's my favorite performance from him. But that's all I have to say for now. If you guys stuck around, thank you everyone for watching. Hang around, check out more of the channel if you'd like. I'd like to do more vids like this in the future. I hope the subs here enjoyed this. If you guys want more of this kind of content, be sure to let me know, or if you'd like to see something specific, and if I feel I have something to bring to that conversation, I'd be happy to work on it. You guys let me know how this animation thing works if you want me to keep it too. It took a little bit of trying, but I think I got the hang of it. So you guys hang in there, don't give up. Life sucks and it'll always have more shit to sling at us, but you don't have to be alone. Don't let it win. Live your life and pursue whatever dream that may be. Move forward so you won't bear the guilt and regret of never trying. Just fucking do it. Take care.